Marketer of the Day, episode 668, Business Insights. Identify the right market, set goals, solve problems, and help people with Business Plan Answer Man, David Brown.
We are back with return guest, Mr. David Brown, and you can find his past appearances at marketeroftheday.com/497, where he discussed the strategy you should and need to have to hit your goals. You can also find him at marketeroftheday.com/609, where David touches on entrepreneurship and focus. And he's here today to tell you that everyone is not your customer. If you're targeting everyone, what does that mean? It means that you're going to be spreading yourself thin. You won't be charging what you're worth. It won't be easy for people to know what you do. And that's a really harsh wake-up call that might be hitting you, that if I go to your website, is it clear that I know what it is that you do? And you should be in the business of solving problems. And if you know what problem you solve, then the rest of the steps begin to take shape, right? If you know what problem you solve, then you know who you should be solving that problem for, and you know how to contact them, and then you can begin to set goals as far as getting traffic or doing the reach out, doing the lead generation, doing the follow-up. And David is a very smart guy. His website is businessplan.answerman.com, and he's going to be sharing with you some fun stories of mistakes people have made, but also people's he's helped, and questions you can and should be asking yourself to make sure you're on the right track. So, David, glad to be talking to you, and welcome back to the show.
Robert, I want to thank you for having me back on your program again. It's always an honor and a pleasure to have a chance to visit with you and your listeners to give them some insight of what I've run across through in the business planning world. It's much appreciated. I'm Dave Brown, the Business Plan Answer Man. And as I work with my clients and prospective clients, we get into some pretty good discussions before we even start the business planning process. It's all about gaining some insight as far as what they want to do. And I like to start off on a call, or depends on location, sometimes even a face-to-face, and just learn about them as a person. What motivates them? Why do they want to start a business? Is it the right reason? As I dig into things, one of the things I have learned is that 80% of the businesses fail within the first 5 years. Of that remaining percentage, 80% will fail between years 6 and 10. Those are pretty alarming statistics. And a lot of it boils down to why they started the business. Starting it for the wrong reason is the number one reason businesses fail. And there are many other issues that do that. Lack of knowledge on how to run a business, lack of financial commitment, lack of time commitment. The list goes on of why businesses fail. But one of the things that I found out in talking to people is when they start to look at their potential new business, as we look at their product or service, they haven't done the research is this a viable market out there for that? And I'll ask them, what problem does your product or service solve? And who has that problem that you need to solve? Some will have a good idea. Some might get the deer in the headlights look. But it boils down to, why am I going to put this on the market? Is it the right product at the right time for the right problem? We get into that discussion quite a bit, and then we start tapering it down once we figure out the grand big picture of what this product or service is. Is the market big enough to withstand that as a full-time business? What do I mean by that? It might be something that it's crafts. Well, it's hard to support a full-time business with just crafts. You might be better off maintaining a side hustle, doing some weekend workout in your garage or taking it to a craft show here or there, and doing that. That's an acceptable business. Then you might find something that will expand that. Well, if I do this, I could do some custom work for so-and-so and do this, which ties into that. So we have to look at the big picture, and is there a different type of issue that we can solve by utilizing your skill set, your products, your services? Then we start talking about where we're going to find these people. What do they look like? So many people haven't thought that through. For instance, I work predominantly with a group called Encore Entrepreneurs. Why? Well, they're people like myself. I can relate to them. We've left corporate employment for one reason or another and decided to start a business. Well, two reasons when to do that. We're too young to retire. As much as I'd like to sit back, prop my feet up, play a little golf, it's not in me to do that, one. And two, I got a long way till I feel I'm ready to retire. I want to be able to go out and do what I want to do, enjoy what I want to do as an Encore entrepreneur, and help people using my skill set. There are a lot of people out through there that need help but don't know where to turn. As a consultant and a business owner with all my experience, I can help them. That does more for me sometimes than the money. Yeah, money's nice, don't get me wrong, but I have a history in my mission in life is to help people, and it's been that way throughout my life. But what are you doing? How does your vision and core values line up with what you want to do? So we talk a little bit about that. And then we start breaking down that ideal customer. What do they look like? Single, married, highly educated, high school graduate. We start piecing all these pieces together. We look at them and just start making a list. The more we can niche down that market, the better off they are. They don't realize everybody thinks that everybody's their business. And that's a common thought. I used to think that years ago until it almost put me out of the insurance business because I was trying to be everything to everybody. Then I was instructed to focus down, and I started working with some business coaches. And as we brought that down to a very small, I could pinpoint where I'm spending my money. We have to get entrepreneurs and business owners to that mindset. When we niche down, you have a narrower focus. So instead of going out there and fishing with a dip net trying to catch just perch, you can bring it down to targeting with a certain bait on your minnow or worm on your line to go out there and catch just the perch. You can target them by what you're using in the same way as in your marketing. If we target people based on their need for our product or service, we're going to have much better results. We're going to see more money coming in for what we're spending. We're going to feel better about what we do. They're going to be happy because we've solved their problem. And in turn, life goes on. We have a happier life because we've been able to fulfill all of this by doing some work up front. I'm very passionate, as you can tell, about making sure people have the right market because I've lived through the experience of not having the right market. But what I want to do is we want to narrow that down a little more, right? Let's start looking at this. Is there a family involved? Right? What's their income level? Do they own a home? Do they have certain hobbies? Whatever it is that your business is focused on, we want to keep narrowing that down. One of my earlier clients was a veterinary practice. She was cat only. I sat down with her. We had this discussion. We started looking at, because she had prior experience working in this type of setting in another city, we were able to easily identify her target market. One, they had to have a cat, being a cat-only practice. I know it sounds silly, but it's one of the things that we looked at. The other thing is, what type of people spent money at the vets on their cat? It's people with a little bit higher income levels. They owned a home most generally. Their homes were anywhere from $175,000 or above. Their income levels were probably $50,000, $60,000 and above. They subscribed to mail order. They did mail ordering. They had magazine subscriptions in the animal world. Some of them may have a cat fancy magazine or something like that. We identified several key components of what her ideal customer looked like. So I took that list and I went out to my brokers and I said, okay, what kind of numbers can you give me based on all this criteria? And we started it because she was opening a new practice. She had a brick and mortar location. So he said, give me a 5-mile radius around her address. We did that. In a 5-mile radius, we came back with 1,000 households, not people, households that met her criteria. Pretty powerful, isn't it? All of a sudden, you got this list of people that fit those that will spend money on their cat, and you've got a list of them right here in front of you. We did put together some mailings and some contact pieces for her to start working on that. And I said, well, all right, just for grins and giggles, let's kick that out 20 miles. I want to see what this bigger picture will be. It's not uncommon for somebody to drive, 15, 20 miles or even longer to go see a professional. How close are you to your doctors, lawyers, other medical providers? They're not, some of them aren't in our neighborhood. We drive a little bit. So it's not uncommon to see people drive to that level. When we put that into the system with the broker, we came up with a number, something like 6, 7, 8,000 households within a 20-mile radius that fit her criteria. And she about fell out of the chair. Actually, so did I, because I didn't think that number would be that large. And this is the beauty of targeting that. So we targeted people with cats. Why go out and spend money to market to people that have no animals or dogs when you're a cat-only practice? By doing this, we were able to focus that in. And she exceeded her 3-year goals and objectives within her first year in business. I don't know about you, but I'd like to do that myself. This was pretty amazing. And then we did it in a drip marketing. We started out small, tested some pieces, see what the return was. And then we just kept expanding that once we got the right message out on the mailers. And this one was postcards. Hey, we're new in your neighborhood. We're cat-only practice. Stop in and see us, blah, 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 blah. Had a little picture of her building and her location. And people were coming in carrying the postcards. It was just amazing when we did our follow-up that the return on her investment was pretty substantial. She was kind of private in the numbers, but she did tell me that she exceeded her goals, her 3-year goals in her first year. And that's the beauty when we start narrowing this down. So I'm very passionate about finding the right market, the right people, the right market, in the right location. Then we target them with the right message. And then your market can skyrocket. What are you doing in this realm? If you're an existing business, go back and look at your customer base. What kind of information do you have on? Start building that and identify these people. It may take you a little time to find out their geographic location. What commonalities do they have? You know by your customers, okay, are they in early 20s, 30s, 40s, 60s, 70s? You can get a pretty good idea and then look at all these other factors that we talk about that make a key decision on your product or service. It's an amazing piece when you start looking at this. The first time I did that in my insurance practice, I was actually shocked to find out where my ideal customer range was. Because I had never done this. And then when I learned about this, I sat down with my staff, and her and I went through and looked at, right, these people are coming from this area. We started by zip code. We just started breaking it down by zip code. And then we went by municipalities and then tried to focus that way. So we spent some time doing it. Had notes all over my whiteboard, but I could target those people with a specific product or service that we offered within the insurance realm. You've got some upper income people. We started talking estate planning. We had small family, people with families and small kids. We started talking life insurance. There's a lot of different pieces that you can do once you know the demographics of your customer base. Spend the time breaking this down. You won't regret the time you spend because it's going to be profitable for you in the long run. Dan Kennedy, one of the famous copywriters and just amazing gentleman. I study his material, and he tells a story about a carpet cleaner. He wanted to go and expand into a new area, trying to build his business. So he did his research, put out his mailing, and was getting no return. And he couldn't figure it out. And he happened to be talking with Dan one day. This was a friend of Dan's. And he says, was telling him about the issue. And he said, have you checked out the neighborhood? So being that it wasn't too far away, they took a ride. They drove the neighborhood he was mailing to. What did they find was not what they expected. Houses value, lower hundreds, if that. Cars on blocks, yards unkept, just general lack of maintenance. This was the type of people that more than likely would not hire a professional carpet cleaner. They go down to the hardware store and rent a carpet cleaner and do it themselves. So on the way back to the carpet cleaner's shop, they stopped to another neighborhood they passed. Says, look at all those nice homes over there. So they did a little research. They drove the neighborhood, higher valued homes, manicured lawns, newer cars in the driveway. These were the type of people that would hire a professional carpet cleaner. The carpet cleaner went back in to the office, readjusted his target market for that area, started sending out his mailers, and his business grew. So it's identifying that right market that we have to work in. And so many people don't take that time, open the doors of the business. Oh, everybody's my customer. They need what I offer. I don't have to do all that. It's sad to say, yes, you do. Again, I've been that trap. I know what it's like, and I won't fall for it again, and I won't let my customers do it if I can absolutely help it if they want to take the time to do it. As you build your business, think about that. How are you going to market? And then what we do is we take that market and those customers, and we build your plan around it when we do your business plan. We start identifying how are we going to solve their problem with this product or service, where are we going to find them, and how are we going to contact them using our core missions, visions, values, and we set our goals according to what we have in our market. And we just keep building on that. Does it stay the same? Absolutely not. This really should be an ongoing evaluation of your client. Markets shift. Neighborhoods, some of them go down, start running unkept, and some new ones come in. You have to always be cognizant of what's going on in your marketplace. You drive down the road, you see something that pops in your mind. Oh, wait a minute, I should do this. So I make a little note. Or you see somebody that triggers a thought. All these come into play in identifying this market. You'll be sitting at a coffee shop. I love coffee shops, mainly because I get out of the house working by myself. But the other thing is, we see this, and you'll see somebody that goes by, oh, I need to talk to them about this, and then that thought will lead to another one and another one and another one. You'll get that snowball effect and help build this. And then you look at that group of people and say, wait a minute, they all do this or this. Maybe I need to look at that for my product or service as well. You can do this. It's not rocket science. It just takes some time. You could do this in a relatively short time if you put some effort into it. Start doing that and then writing a message. I used to target neighborhoods, and when my insurance, I could go out and buy lists based on this criteria, what I wanted to market to, and then I would start working that list. Do the same with your business. How are you doing this? What kind of contacts are you making? Identify those people that are going to be the ideal people to grow your business. And don't forget to get testimonials and referrals. Best way to build a business. referral marketing. That's a whole nother subject in the discussion. But spend your time putting all this together. You won't regret it. And I want to offer my help. If you got a question on this, and I can direct this to some places that you can get this. And one of the documents I use, and I'll go the secret out, is from HubSpot or Direct Marketer. They have a customer avatar program. They have a book, and it's free download. And as one of my team members in one of my companies says, free 99 can't be beat. Dig into this stuff, find these, but if you need a link, send me a note. Can you give me the link to your avatar program? And I'll send you the link to it so you can get it yourself. But I want to make an offer to you as well. If you're starting your business or you really haven't done a lot of planning early on and you want to start taking it to the next level, and there's some things you're not sure what you need to do, on my website at www.businessplan.answerman.com, on the homepage there, right there in the middle, you'll see a sign that says, download the free Ultimate Business Checklist. Put your name and email in there, send it off. You will get a return of this checklist of things that you need to consider when you're starting a business. Even if you're new in the business, it might help you because there's a lot of information on that one that's 2 or 3 page document. But at the same time, you'll also get a copy of my book, From the Bottom Up, The Ultimate Guide for Business Planning to Profitability. That's a step-by-step guide walking you through the business planning process. And I'm a simple person, so I like it simple, so there's no big words like delicatessen. You got a question? Email me, Dave, at businessplan.answerman.com. Go to my website. There's a comment box there to contact me. Do that. I'm on social media, Business Plan Answer Man. Let me hear from you. Let me help you. Let me be your resource. Once again, Robert, I want to say thank you. I always enjoy having a chance to share what I've learned in my 30 plus years in business with your listeners. I hope this gives them some insight and help as they build their business. I want to wish everybody listening, either live or on the replay, a great success in all their business. Robert, thank you once again. It has been a true pleasure and honor.
Thank you for that thoughtful segment, David. It really hit home when David was talking about that story where the client decided to get in the car and drive around the neighborhood that they were sending letters to. That's a good idea, is to see if you can have some kind of a clear picture about who you're talking to, who you're helping, because sometimes what you imagine and what is reality might be a little different. I also took notes, and maybe you did too, with that excellent idea to send out some letters and personalize the letters for each person you're contacting. And that was a really easy thing to do, where he mentioned to send a letter with a picture of the business's front door. And that's a very easy thing to do with Google Maps, Google Street View, and maybe think about how you can do that. Think about, can you send a letter or a message or an email or a video with a picture of that brick and mortar business, of the person's picture, of the person's website? Put in that little bit of effort to stand out. And that way you can make sure that your marketing efforts work, in addition to what he talked about, such as knowing your prospect, knowing if they're single, married, high school graduate. So that way you can niche down that market. Don't focus on everyone. Have narrower focus, and then target them with the right bait, so that way you are speaking directly to them. And once again, to download that ultimate business checklist to help you be cognizant of what's going on in your marketplace, go to businessplan.answerman.com, and then you can email David directly at dave@businessplan.answerman.com, and find him on social media at businessplan.answerman. So we'll see you there, businessplan.answerman.com. Robert Plank, Marketer of the Day podcast. Have a great one, and thank you.
Go right now to marketeroftheday.com/iTunes to subscribe to the show, listen to other episodes, and rate and review the show.